are we?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
Looking good.
Hair down.
Love it.
Nope.
We'll start on Zoom with Mike Hell.
Hey, Coach. Can you hear me inside?
You bet. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So we're here at our pregame tailgate for this game tonight.
I love it. Turn
Everybody
up.
wants to know, what's the plan for Cameron Brink tonight in today's game?
Well, we're thrilled to have her back, and I'm incredibly proud of her. She's on a minutes restriction, so don't come being angry with me when she doesn't play as much as you'd like. But I told her that she needs to enjoy the moment. It's 12 months ago she was doing leg extensions with no weights on them, and it's a hard injury to come back for mentally, physically, and she's done it with a smile on her face. And of course there's hard moments, and I've seen a lot of those, and I'm just so happy for her and proud of her. So the expectation for her is to get out there and enjoy the moment. Let the game come to her a little bit. She doesn't have to score 20. It'd be great if she did. But I want her to just be in the moment, be present, and grateful that she's back out there. And we'll work her back in as she gets, kind of, as I always use the term, her sea legs back. And we're excited to have her, and she's excited, and I know there's some anxiousness and some nerves from her, and how could there not be? But it's good for her to be doing this at home, in front of this crowd that all love her, and so do we. So we're proud of her and excited, and obviously from an X's and O's standpoint, bringing her defense into our rotation is going to be really critical as we enter in the second half here. So I don't want pressure on her. I want her to just get out there and get the experience back and get into the flow, and the game will come to her.
Coach, when it comes to Brink,
Will be how special is it for her to be able to come back with how well the rest of the front court is playing with the play of De'Erica and Azrae Stevens?
Yeah, those two are unbelievable right now, just so consistent. And so what a blessing for me as a coach to have Cameron Brink to bring in those situations. So again, we've got to kind of ease her in, and like I said, she's on minutes restriction. But yeah, we're it's a great time to add just a great player to our roster.
Coach, when it comes to Brink, from the tape you saw from her last year, and then the time you've had with her one-on-one, what's your biggest takeaway about her game?
Well, I also coached against her for 4 years, so thank the lucky stars I get to coach her now and not against her. I think she just has, she's incredibly athletic, bouncy, can run, and that's the kind of style we want to play. We want to, she can play with pace. She's very skilled for her length. She can shoot, and she's going to be able to do all that stuff with how we play. And then, obviously just the defense and her timing it's not necessarily how many blocks she gets. She's going to alter shots too. I mean, it happened in shoot around today against our practice guys going over Vegas' stuff. She comes over and she didn't touch it, but the shot was way off because she was there. So it's not just blocks, and she's great at those too, but it's also just altering shots if she's coming. So, I think when you have a rim protector like that, you're able to be more aggressive on the ball because she's back there, and I think that's going to be a really big impact for us.
Alexa.
Hi, Coach. Another Cam question, if you don't mind.
No.
I know coming in, November when you got hired, she was already starting and in her rehab process. What stuck out to you about how she was able to just attack things physically, mentally, and it's such a long process to get back on the floor? Like, what did you see from her that really sticks out?
Just her commitment to it. I know we all know Cam has got so many things where she could. She's marketable in so many areas, right? But the main thing is basketball. That's her passion. That's her love, and that's where she really dug in. And ACLs are tough. I have had several players that have come back from them, and it's a mind game, right? Because the progress is so slow, and from week to week you might not be feeling like you're getting improvement, and so you've got to be mentally tough. And I think that's gonna you never want any player to get injured, but sometimes you know, in the long run, the mental side of it, it can help you be tougher, have perspective, be grateful, have, you know, realize how much you love something and how much you, when you don't have it. And so that's what I saw from her, just a perspective and just a consistency, because that, and we have to give a shout out to our medical staff too. They've been unbelievable, and the commitment to her, the care for her, I mean, it's 24/7 support. And so, you know, Cam put the work in, but she had an unbelievable support system around her, and those guys deserve a lot of credit too.
John in the first row.
John W. Davis with the Southern California News Group. Coach, some people say the best way to predict the future is to just go ahead and make it happen. So I went to channel Eric a little bit.
I like that.
Anyway, thank you. What does this team have to do to keep this streak going against the Aces and win this game and not have a 6-game winning streak?
Yeah.
What do you have to do?
I think we have to continue doing what we're doing in terms of playing with pace, sharing the ball. You know we have our hands full tonight. Vegas is very, very dangerous. They're experienced. They have championship experience. They're well coached. You know, so it's not like we just think it's going to happen because we really want it to. We've got to be really good defensively. Keep them off the free throw line. I think we've got to defend the 3-point line. You know, the games where they're, to me, especially dangerous is when they're hitting those threes. And of course they've got Asia, who's just, you know, so dominant. So we've got our hands full defensively. Offensively, I think we have to be us. No matter what they do, whatever pick and roll coverage they're in, whatever they're doing, we have to continue to play with pace and share the ball and make those reads. And I think they're starting to, you know, we're figuring it out, and you know, the evidence is in our offensive numbers, and now we just got to really hone in on the defensive side.
Carolyn.
Hi.
Hi there. I'm interested in Rakia Jackson and looking at where she came from college, a mid-range shooter,
Mm-hmm.
to being on fire from the 3-point line, especially in that first quarter against New York. What have you had to change about her game in your system?
I don't think I've changed anything. I think what we try to do, and I think, you know, it's been effective, is teach. Like what the why behind, we would rather have you take a 3 than a pull-up. Now, is a pull-up a bad shot for Rakia? No, she knows she can take those. But I think she's understanding that her athleticism and length, when she gets in the paint going downhill, go get an and one. You know, she's so good when she gets momentum going downhill. And is the pull-up a good option? Yeah. Is it better to get an and one? Of course, the math's there, right? And you know, her 3 looks really good. I think her footwork has improved. But you know, I give her all the credit for being willing to you know, be open to it and be coachable. And you know, I'm really, really proud of her. And for me, it's a luxury to have such a, you know, a 1-2 punch on the perimeter with Kelsey and her. It's tough. And you know, I'm proud of Rakia, and I'm just been really impressed with her in the last month or so. Just her improvement, even though, you know, I don't think she had to change her game, but she's figuring it out, and I think she's seeing the benefits of that.
Justin right here.
Hey, Coach.
Hi.
Yesterday, De'Eric had mentioned that there was a team meeting that had took place on a recent road trip, and players were able to kind of have open and honest conversations with one another. She called it a come to Jesus moment, was the word on there. When you have a team of players that is willing to be that open and honest with each other and kind of, you know, cut through everything.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about the group of people that you have in your locker room, and kind of what have you seen since that team meeting?
Yeah, well, obviously I was not in the meeting. That's probably a good thing. But you know, I think I'm a big believer in player ownership. You know, they'll come to me in timeouts, and you know, I want them talking. I want them to have ownership in what we're running, how we're doing things. It doesn't threaten me at all. If I call something, they're like, hey, I think we should do this because we're seeing this, great. So I think the type of players that we have, they care about winning. And you know, I'm very fortunate, and I give, Reagan Peebly, our GM, a lot of credit for the type of players we have. It's not just talent, everybody in this league's talented. But it's getting the right type of talent that can fit into, not being entitled, being about the organization. They're all competitors, they all wanna perform, and they should, right? That's normal, and we encourage that, but they're also about the team first. And so, a team-only meeting is them taking ownership and not going off in their own little silos and whatever, and that's culture. And again, I think we've done Reagan and the org has done a good job of putting the right type of players in this program.
Jackie with the last question.
Jackie TVN Women's Hoops Network. Kind of to piggyback off of that, we talked about you wanting to peak in August, and in order to do that, you wanted all the pieces in play. Obviously, with Cam coming back, there's a ramp up, but now that all the pieces are in play, how does that shift the narrative for you at all?
I don't know if it shifts the narrative. I think we just gotta keep our foot on the gas and keep improving. I don't think it's coincidence that I think we're 7-3 since Ray Burrell came back. We're 6-2 since we signed Julie Van Loo. Like, I don't think that's coincidence, right? So that's legitimate depth that brings a pop off the bench. I think we are missing that. Now we're gonna have Cam. So I think we're getting to see the roster that we were envisioning a few months ago. And my job is to just keep us focused, on the process and continue to improve. We still have a lot of things we can get better at. And this league is so good. And I have so much respect for all the teams and players and coaches. So what we can't do is start looking up and thinking about, 2 weeks from now or whatever. We gotta be present, focused on tonight. And then tomorrow we'll wake up and think about Seattle. But until then, it's all Vegas and just keep our foot on the gas with improving and the process.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, we'll see you afterwards.
Still loving the hair.